Hey, happy birthday to my two Capricorn sisters. They're 14 years apart, but they were born on December 30th. We got a new moon. So, Nana Cassandra and Angela. Hey, and I got on my Motor City. Honor that. Okay, that's the personal. Capricorn is what's visible in our community. Well, Capricorn and Cancer are complementary to each other in the sense that we can have our professional responsibility, our reputations, right here, but then I can talk about my sisters, which is my family, my private life. Capricorn, hi y'all. Cancer, talking to my both of my sisters whose birthday is today. So it's the complement of the public reputation, but it's the family roots. Now, on the screen, you've got this new moon in Capricorn. Here it is in Kansas City with Cancer rising, and then the new moon sun and moon together are setting over there in Cap. So Cancer and Capricorn are about responsibility. Responsibility. So we have these really big frontal lobes that give us all this thinking and left hemisphere. But responsibility is also our natural body's response. Cancer is the stomach, and Capricorn is connected to the knees and the bone structure. So there is, our body does let us know when shit ain't right. All right. So we've got this square. Here is Chiron and Aries, who was stationary in the last couple of so days. So Chiron and Aries is we're all healing the wounds of our individualism. Either we go to one extreme and it's me, mine, my, and I did it all on my own, where there's an unconscious narcissism with Aries to a point where it may unintentionally be all self-absorbed, but then it can also be wounded in the sense that it goes to the other extreme and be martyred and victimized. And with Capricorn, a sign that wants to discourage disharmony, you can see how that can be a recipe for disaster. Now, with the Cancer ascending, we're all here in Kansas City or in this area, the central part of the nation, that has this Cancer rising. We're learning how to honor our emotional wave, as human design says. We're learning how to honor that feeling self and realize that, the square to Chiron is understanding oneself as an independent entity that's interdependent with other entities. Now, Venus is moving as far away from the sun as she can. She's 45, 46 degrees. So in that aspect, it can be suggest a small crisis in, well, what do we value? Well, Venus and Aquarius and Capricorn energy, it can be kind of this, mild sandpaper about, well, what is the nature of freedom? And so that's where we go into the Leo side, the heart is at a different frequency. The heart is in a different dimension outside of time and space. So when you casually say the heart wants what the heart wants, are you talking about that from an ego perspective to give you cover to do some really selfish things that are not reflective, immature? Because Capricorn doesn't do the immaturity. They grown ass people, right? Or are you talking about the open, the transparency of that Leo Aquarius complement, right? I don't use opposition anymore. The attracting energies of the solar concentrated fire and spirit and authentic intelligence of Leo is balanced with the spatial, collective, universal intelligence of Aquarius. We need them both because one of the transitions that is happening right now with Mars in Leo retrograding, and he'll be there until January 6th, but he'll be retrograde until February 23rd. I want to take a breath now because I realize it's the coffee, and I got my hermit mug to honor Capricorn because, well, we all can be hermits, but Capricorn and Virgo, and sometimes Scorpio has that on lockdown. Anyway, the Leo Mars retrograde is closer to the Earth in Leo, authentic intelligence. And then the Aquarius, we have Pluto in Aquarius, see it over here, and Ceres in Aquarius. So they're not opposite. They're balancing each other out. They're accessing the equilibrium that's within so we can create harmony in our atmosphere and our relationships. So as we understand ourselves as human-centric beings, and the half truth is that almost all religions are based on the falsity of Earth or geocentricity. What happens when we are galactically centered? When it's something beyond the duality of Adam and Eve and male and female. And I do feel that our transgendered individuals are leading us that way, that we're getting out of that binary. But just know that with Mars and Pluto, as far away as they can be with each other in authentic intelligence, heartfelt Leo, and artificial intelligence, I can make this shit up as I go along, Aquarius, the balance is, if you're making it up, are you making it up with the intention of inclusiveness, Aquarius? Yeah, there you go. Feel that. Because if you're doing it from a soulful, rooted inclusiveness, then I don't care how intellectually adrift or lost or loose or, adrift that Aquarius can be, if the intention is set that we are aligning with inclusive ideals. Now, this is pillar number 11 in our raw material, which you can always go there and get additional information and exercises. So these next several days, I would even take it to about the 15th of January, is that it's really important for us to get this particular right. Are we acting from our egocentric, the heart what the heart wants, from a more adolescent perspective, or are we acting from a transparent collective one, as if we're all on Earth attempting, wanting to be inducted into a galactic matrix, where we do belong to something larger than what's going on the Earth. It does kind of put your problems or your challenges in perspective. But back to this Capricorn energy, right? So the next step on this is that we have Uranus and Taurus, which it will be there until approximately July. So these first 6 months of 2025, and realize I'm working out how to present that information from 2025. And I just want to say that as Uranus finishes up his 7-year track in Taurus, we are all have been learning what really matters. Earth sign. Uranus is disruptive. So he comes in and he shocks the foundation of how we spend money. But what's your definition of prosperity? And Uranus is going to make sure that you learn it. Now, he's in a tight fate field aspect with Juno, the planet of commitment and marriage and equality in Scorpio. So, I mean, the sun and moon are. So, what we're learning right now about our commitments is, what do they mean to us? And are we sharing ideals? Are we submitting to shared ideals, which means there needs to be some communication? And Capricorn, being the rich initiating earth sign that it is, it has a lot to do with creating new forms of relationships, not based on the role play, but on the spirit within them. Remember, the sun is a portal to higher and more inclusive consciousness. And with the nodal axis finishing up its Aries Libra energy over the last 18 months in mid-January, we're at this sweet cuspal point of innocence. The innocence of Aries is just, I act because I'm compelled to act. I just feel it within my spirit. And typically, it's an unintentional wound in the Aries action. A lot of times it's just, you may be going local. I'm just not following you. Or Aries says, I got to go in this direction. And remember, the nodal axis is a complement between Aries to acting necessary, not without all this calculation, with the Libra, which may be overly ponderous. How long can you take shit under advisement? Libra says. And Aries just says, look, just turn these fucking scales over. but it's going to move back into Pisces and Virgo. So I maintain, or the cosmos maintains as it works through my melanated self, that we're learning over these next 18 months when we have the Pisces Virgo axis how to discern what's the martyrdom of Virgo, what's the last couple thousand years of human centricity, human centricity, human eccentricity and egocentricity about only seeing one side of truth. And again, I'm going to work this out more on a larger arc with my website and for 2025 as well. But just give you some, appetizers of it right now, cosmic appetizers of it right now, is that just imagine the last couple thousand years of religious thought. People who were seen that way were often sequestered. Love that legal word. Were often sequestered outside of society. One of the major differences in our moving into the Aquarius age and why we're learning how to do that now is you have people like me, and I'm not the only one, but we have this beautiful medium called the internets. These different ways to talk to our cosmic family. And Aquarius will say each person will grow up, will become a transparent member of their chosen communities. Yes, a transparent member of their chosen communities. Well, they will bring their heart authenticity, that Leo side of them, to the negotiating table, basically. And as such, we will transform the trajectory of how we heal ourselves and heal our planet as a whole. And so as we move into the Virgo Pisces axis, uh, is starting around January 15th, 2025. The karmic or ancestral energy shifts into our understanding conscious self sacrifice, conscious and whole self sacrifice, where we develop an ego, we develop an identity, we develop something that we consciously give up. Like I gave up a law license or the practice of law because this provided more resources and more prosperity, at least in my definition of it, than sitting around and using the left hemisphere, the intellect, so much that I'm constantly in separation, not in unity, perfection, and wholeness. And that's where the innocence of Pisces is how do we regain that? Yeah, how do we restore it? And Neptune is going to give us until March 30th to really learn that lesson because then he goes into Aries. So we kind of got these ships, these cosmic ships passing each other right at 0 degrees of Aries, late Pisces. Translation is how can you go on your independent forgiveness trip, your forgiveness tour, beginning with self, and then it will show in your closest relationships. And this Capricorn new moon with Saturn in Pisces, pragmatic Saturn being challenged by Jupiter in Gemini. That's a crisis in action between Saturn saying, you grown ass mofo, and in Pisces, you're responsible for developing your own mythic belief. Saturn doesn't ask for blind faith ever. That doesn't even go into Saturn world. So Saturn asks for you to have the leap of faith based on your modulated observational moment to moment experiences. A la, self-monitoring Vipassana of the Buddhists, but it's Buddhist energy. But Saturn says grow up and study your life. And he's in Pisces. So he's saying beauty is everywhere. And then Jupiter and Gemini is saying, slow down the mind, slow down the left hemisphere, slow down trying to get the sound bites through Instagram. The cosmic sound bites, get them through the heart. And then as you really marinate on them through the wholeness and the completion and the perfection of the heart, energy, the anahata, the unwounded, the unstruck part of our hearts. Then you can breathe and communicate what it is that you know. But for now, these next couple months, Saturn and Jupiter in this movement, particularly January, is about, are you able to see and make decisions based on knowing what's best for you? And since Jupiter's in Gemini, maybe say less. So I'm going to take that as an opportunity to say less. And Happy New Year. Um, and let me know what type of things you want and products and services you want for this upcoming new year. And I appreciate you listening. And if you get to this part of it and you just put Nia, which is the 5th day of Kwanzaa, and you tell me what Nia means, I'll send you something special and unique and modest. Again, Happy New Year.